All right. Hey, I think we're live. Man, this was not easy for me to figure out. So I hope I'm live, man. I hope I'm live. This is like this is probably the third time I've done this. So I think I was supposed to be live at 10 o'clock, but I'm telling you, if you know me, you know when it comes to technology, man. Oh goodness, I'm not too brilliant in that category. But today we've got a really exciting live training that we're going to be doing on recruiting. Um, I hope I'm live. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm just talking to my computer. Um, it might be it says something I've got to do. I hope I'm live. I honestly, there's this little thing that came up that said that there's a performance issue. So I hope this is working. I really do. I'm praying that it works, and I'm sure Brianna will text me and tell me if it's not working. But we're going to make sure today that we give you guys some very valuable information. And if this doesn't work out right now and I'm not live, I will do this again. And hopefully it's as good the second time if I need to do it. But real quickly, I'll just kind of share with you a little bit about my background. I know most of you guys you probably know my background, but I got real lucky about 30 years ago. I was in high school at the time, and somebody introduced me to this industry of direct selling, and just had an amazing mentor, and somebody taught me about this business and this industry. At that time in my life, I was a high school student, 17, wasn't going to graduate, really wasn't doing well at anything in my life. I was struggling in school. I played football, and my football team didn't win a game my senior year. So I pretty much failed at everything I'd ever done. So when I got involved in this industry, I didn't think that I was going to become wealthy. I didn't even want to become wealthy. I just wanted to be able to make a little bit of extra money. But the concept made a lot of sense to me. And a lot of this stuff that made sense to me is the stuff that I'm going to be talking about today with you is recruiting. Because, when I got involved in this industry, we weren't selling skincare. 30 years ago, I was selling phone service. So long distance phone service. When somebody calls from California to New York, that was what I was selling. So needless to say, when you're 17 years old, you don't even have a phone in your name, right? So I was recruiting all my friends. We didn't have phones in our names, right? But we were still able to become successful because we wanted it really bad. So, people always ask me, they're like, Tim, you're an ugly guy in the beauty industry. How does that make any sense? And I'm not sure why it makes sense to everybody, but to me it makes a lot of sense, right? Because there's a lot more people that are not pretty than are pretty, right? So I'm the guy that's not pretty, so it's easy for me because I can relate to the masses. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, right? The one thing I've mastered, I think, over the last 30 years is recruiting. So today I'll kind of share with you a little bit about some ideas and concepts that maybe will help you out in recruiting. First thing is why do you want to build a team? Like, why not just go out there and get customers yourself, right? Sometimes people are like, why would I go build a team? I think that sometimes is, basically, people's thought process because maybe they've never experienced, this industry or understood it real well. But the kind of reality is that we're looking for a customer base, right? I'm looking for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people all around the world that are using our products and can't get enough of it. Right? For me, it makes too much sense because skincare, I think everybody wants to look better. I don't think anybody's walking around being like, man, I look too beautiful, man. I know we all know some people like that, but the people that think they look too good, they still want to lock in that beauty, right? But the reality is the majority of people on the planet, they want to look better, right? They want to look better. So I'm trying to get, hundreds of thousands of millions of customers all around the world using the Remon products, falling in love with the Remon products, and every single month that they buy the products, you get paid a little percentage of it. So my mentor taught me, he said, would you rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts rather than 100% of your own efforts? He taught me, he said, it's a lot better, Tim, to make leverage income than it is to make linear income. And I was like, what does that mean? And he said, basically leverage income means you make money all the time. Right? Leverage income means you make money all the time. Linear income means you make money only when you work. So if I'm only getting customers myself, there's a finite amount of customers. There's a limited amount of customers I can get because there's only so many people I can talk to myself. But if I build a channel of distribution and I bring in hundreds of thousands and millions of distributors all across the world, I'm going to be able to get more customers, right? So I like team building from the aspect of I like making leverage income, right? So if you recruit, let's say you recruit 10 people in your organization that you build on your team, and if 10 people are working, let's say 10 hours a week, that means you're getting paid on what, 100 hours of effort? Is that right? I mean, you probably know if that's right or not. If, so the reason why I like building a distribution channel and I like recruiting people is because I like to work smarter, right? I like to work hard, but I also like to work smart. So as you build a team of people, guess what happens, right? You're working what? You're working smarter. So I think building a distribution channel, building a team of people makes too much sense to me, probably makes too much sense to you now. Now, the second thing is this: why is recruiting normal, right? I think a lot of times when people get started, like when I got started, I'm like, recruiting, that sounds weird. But what my mentor told me says everybody that's successful recruits, right? I think if you look at colleges, right? Colleges recruit, right? Now, college football recruits for sure, right? NFL recruits, baseball recruits, every sports team recruits. Shucks, every business recruits, right? Have you ever walked by a business and says now accepting applications? So recruiting is normal, right? And I think that everybody would agree. If you want to build a successful business, you've got to always be recruiting. You've got to be always looking for better talent, right? So I think recruiting is something that's really normal. Now, people ask me all the time, they say, Tim, where should I start? Right? I want to become a master recruiting, right? I want to become great like you. You look at the top people in the organization, you look at the Brianna Michaels, right? You look at the Susan Manuelos, right? You look at these different leaders, right? The Christy Bellisons, the Kate Twiggs, you look at all these leaders, right? And you go, why are they having so much success? Abby, why is Abby having so much success? Why are all these top directors having success? Why are all these top senior directors having so much success? Why is Dina Peacock so amazing, right? People always ask me that. You kind of look at these directors and you say, wait a second. They're really good at recruiting because I think they've understood that it's where you start, right? How to get started. It's okay, sure, I want to do Remon. I like it. I want to make extra income. I want to offset the cost of living. I want to make a little bit of extra money. I want to make $500 to $1,000 a month. Maybe you want to make $500,000 a week, right? Maybe you want to make $500 to $1,000 a day. So you're like, what? I want to do that. I want to make that big money. Where do I start, Tim? And I think the reality is you've got to check your inventory, right? That's the biggest thing. Now, what do I mean by check your inventory? What I mean by that is simply this, is you want to make a list, right? And I think sometimes people go, well, Tim, my list is in my phone, right? I've got my names and contacts in there. I don't need to make a list. But the reality is when you look at your phones and your contact list, depending on the size of your font, right? If you're old like me and I can't see very well, my font's as big as it can be. So maybe I can only see 10 contacts at a time on my phone. Maybe you got good eyesight still. Maybe you're still young or you've been blessed with good eyes. And maybe you can see 20 contacts. Whatever it is, whether it's 10 or 20 or 5, right? The reality is that that's not going to give you a lot of posture. But when you put pen to paper and you start making a list of everybody that you know, it gives you posture. So, like, give an example. If I prejudge, right, and I'd go, okay, I think this person might be interested, this person might be interested, this person's not, oh, definitely this person won't be, oh, this person would hate it, this person would love it, and I start being prejudiced, right? I start prejudging who would be interested, who wouldn't be interested. I'm going to limit my list. But if I open up my mind and open up my heart and say, hey, look, you know what, everybody, if they're going to say yes or they're going to say no, that's on them. But I'm going to make sure that people KNOW, right, what they're going to say. If somebody's going to say yes or no, I want you to know what you're saying no to, right? So I'm going to make a list of everybody that I know. So when I got involved in the industry of direct selling, they told me to make a list. I didn't question, I didn't debate, I didn't discuss it, I just did it. My mentor told me, says, if you want to be successful, Tim, guess what you got to be? And I said, what? He goes, you got to be coachable. I said, well, that makes sense, right? Because I don't know what I'm doing. You know what to do. So if I follow your lead, I'm going to have success. He said, exactly. So what I did was I made a list. I did exactly what they told me to do. And they told me, said, don't edit your list, right? Make a list of everybody that you know. And more names are going to pop up as you start building your business. And when people aren't interested at the time being, you're going to get referrals from them and you're going to get the people that aren't interested as customers, right? So what I did was when I got started, I just made a list exactly what they said. And I remember that I made a list and it was like, I don't know, it was like probably 20 people or whatever. My brother-in-law was like, dude, this is not big enough. You're supposed to make a list of 100 people. That's what they told us. So he said, Tim, if you're not going to do this the right way, then don't waste my time. And I said, okay, well, let me go make a bigger list then. So I made a bigger list and he was kind of bold, right? He was strong with me. And later on, I asked him, I said, why were you so strong with me at the beginning? You got started about the same time I did. He goes, well, because I didn't really have a very good sponsor, telling me what I needed to do. So I just told you what they told me to do, but nobody really made me do it. I wanted to make you do it because I didn't want you to miss it. And I thought, man, what a good leader, right? What a good sponsor. So I made a list of 100 people, and guess what I did? Now, this is so critical when it comes to building a distribution channel, is don't look at people that when you're sorting through this list, don't find out if these people are interested or not interested. That's not what the list is. I'm not going to call the people on my list and say, hey, are you interested in making more money? Why? Because they're not going to be interested in our business until they find out what it's about. Like, this is a common sense approach, right? You guys all know me. I'm not very smart, never graduated high school, never went to college. Only thing I know how to do is take out the trash in network marketing. So you don't want to make a list and find out if they're interested or not, because people aren't going to be interested in something they don't know about. So when I made my list, this is something that's so critical. They told me, they said, Tim, this list is not, are you going to find people that are interested? This is a list of people that you're going to show the business to. This is a list of people that you're going to show the business to. So if you make a list of, like I did, 100 people, because that's what my mentor told me to do, so I just did it. And guess what I did? I showed every one of those people the business. Now, some people it took me 6 months to show them the business. Some people it took me a year to show them the business. Some people, they looked at it right away. But I was not going to let people say N-O to what they did in K-N-O-W, right? I'm not going to let somebody say no to what they don't know. So I made a list of people. This is what I did. I'm just going to share with you what I did, right? Some of you are like, that's not what I'm going to do, Tim. I'm going to do it this way. Look, that's the beauty of this business, right? Is that you have the freedom and flexibility to be able to do it however you want to do it. For me, what I wanted to do is I wanted to follow the lead of the people that were making the money that I wanted to make. So I did exactly what they did. See, like in high school, I did get good grades my freshman year. Now, after that, I never got good grades because they took me out of the classes with all the smart kids, right? So I had nobody to copy off of. I remember that sophomore year, I went into the class and I was like, oh my God, this is all my buddies from football, right? So it's me and a bunch of my football friends. I'm like, who are we going to copy off of, right? Nobody's smart in here. And that's whenever it went downhill. But see, I wasn't really good at school, but I was really good at copying off smart people, right? I was really good at copying off smart people. And what I did when I got involved in this industry was the same thing. Somebody said, hey, look, you know what? I'm making $20,000 a month. I'm making, $80,000 a month. I'm making $100,000 a month. If you're making $100,000 a month, I'm just going to copy what you're doing so I can have the same result. You guys see how smart that is? So basically what I did is I followed their lead. And they told me they said, introduce the business to everybody. Don't call them to see if they're interested. Call them to see when you can get together to give them the information that's going to get them interested. And I thought, wow, get together with them to give them the information that's going to get them interested. That's smart, right? So what I did is I got in front of everybody that I knew. On that list of 100 people that I introduced to the business, a lot of them became successful, but 3 of them became $1 million a year earners, right? And one of the people that I introduced is the person that actually introduced Danny Bay to the industry, right? That's how I met Danny Bay. So you never know, right? You never know how or who you're going to introduce to the business, how serious they're going to be, okay? And that's really what got me excited, right? I hope this is working. Is this thing working? Because something just changed. It says low FPS. I have no idea what we're doing. So I hope this is working. I really do. I see chats. So I'm just doing whatever I'm told. I'm pushing buttons. I hope it's all working. But real quickly, make a list of people. Let's show them the business. If I'm running out of time, I better start speaking a little bit faster. I don't know if these things are limited. Now, the next thing is this. When you talk to people, what are you talking about? Right? Are you talking about the vehicle? You talking about the route? Or are you talking about the destination? Right? I talked about this last week on Friday night when I talked about overcoming objections training. This Friday, I'm going to be talking about mindset. So I'm going to talk about kind of that recruiting mindset as well Friday. But last Friday, I talked about overcoming objections. And some people called me afterwards and said, Tim, that was brilliant when you talked about vehicle, destination, and route. If I was going to invite you to Disneyland, what would I talk to you about? Would I talk to you about the airplane that we're going to take to Disneyland? Right? That would be one approach. If I called you up and said, hey, man, you're not going to believe this, this plane. But a lot of people, if I started talking about a plane, they're going to go, well, where are we going? Right? That would be kind of their I'm not really going to jump on a plane if I don't know where the final destination is, right? Now, if I talked to you and I called you up and said, man, you're not going to believe this route this is the best flight pattern I've ever seen in my life. You're going to go, well, what? Where are we going? But if I talk to you about what it is that you want, you're going to be a little bit more interested, right? So if I talk to you about what it is that you're interested in, so it's more about why would you want to get involved in Remon? What would you want Remon to do for you? See, Remon is a vehicle, okay? It's a vehicle. And you can talk about the vehicle, but it's more importantly where the vehicle is going for them, right? So if you want to go to Disneyland and say you love meeting the characters, you're like, man, I love taking pictures of Mickey Mouse and not Daffy Duck, that's the wrong deal. Donald Duck, right? I love talking to those dudes. I like taking pictures with them. Goofy's my guy. I want to meet Winnie the Pooh, that'd be sweet. And that's really what you're interested in doing. I wouldn't talk to you about something other than that, right? If I'm like, man, you know what? You got to go on these roller coasters. They're amazing, man. You're not going to believe this Space Mountain is dark and there's this music. And you're like, I don't even like, in your mind, you're going, I don't even like roller coasters. It's not going to be the same. I'm not going to have the same success, right? But if you want to get something out of this business, let's say that you want to retire your husband, right? Or you want to retire your wife, right? Or you want to, you want to be able to set up a college fund for your kids, or you want to, be able to travel more, or you want to get a brand new house next to the beach. If I know what your why is and I talk to you about that why, that's going to get you intrigued to get involved in the business. So it's about destination. It's about destination. Destination is more important than vehicle. Destination is more important than the route you take. Okay? So when you talk to people about getting them interested in Remon, if you talk 90% about Remon, that's like if you go to an apple orchard, right? I don't even know if they still make those things, but back when I was a little kid in Indiana, we used to go to apple orchards and we would get a little basket and we would get to pick our own apples, right? Now, if I went to pick apples and I'm like, man, you know what? Check out all those apples. And I saw some big juicy apples and I'm like, man, I'm going to figure out how those apples are coming about. So I start digging the roots, right? So I start digging and I start studying the roots, right? I start digging the roots. I'm not going to get many apples. You guys see that? But if I came to a big apple orchard and I saw these giant apples, I'm like, I'm gonna grab that bad boy, grab that bad boy. So it's more important is like, are you, what are you doing, right? Are you digging the roots or are you picking the fruits? See, I'm more of a fruit picker, right? I'm more of what this business is gonna get for me, right? Sometimes people are root diggers and they're like, man, I'm not getting any apples. Well, because you're spending 90% of the time when you recruit people or when you talk to them about the products is you're selling ingredients, not results. See, the difference between me, I got involved in skincare 16 years ago, okay? My first business that I got involved in skincare, I sold over $1 billion worth of products. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm telling you why I was able to do that. I recruited over 1 million people that were active when I sold my business, okay? And I'm telling you guys it's not to brag. I'm telling you why I was able to do that because I talk about results, not ingredients, okay? I talk about results, not ingredients. So I don't sell skincare. Some of you guys sell skincare. I don't sell skincare. I sell compliments, okay? I sell compliments, okay? And it's the same thing with recruiting. I don't sell, a business opportunity. What I sell is what this business will do for you, right? It's more travel, right? Or it's more free time. It's more, recreation. It's more hanging out with your family. It's more helping out your family. So it's family, it's occupation, it's recreation, it's money or motivation. Once I find out what's important to you, all I got to do is talk in terms of your interests, right? It's kind of simple, right? Always talk in terms, this is from How to Win Friends and Influence People, but talk in terms of people's interests. If somebody's interested in something, you want to talk about that, right? If somebody's interested in maybe getting a new boat, right? Every time I see Kate Twig post something, she's always on her boat, right? Her and her husband Adam are always on their boat. I'm like, she must like boats, right? So if somebody's into boats and you're like, hey, what's your dream boat? And they're like, man, and say, hey, if I can show you a way to be able to get that dream boat, whatever it was, would you be interested? They're going to say yes. Right? If somebody loves to travel or they want to be able to provide a better quality of lifestyle for their kids and you have a way to do that, that's what Remon's about. Someone hates their job and they're always complaining about it and you talk about in terms of, hey man, you know what? I think I found a way for you to make more money than what you're making out your current occupation. Are you open-minded to making more money? Are you open-minded to taking a look? If I could show you a way for you to do that, would you be interested? People are going to say yes. It's super simple. It's talk in terms of what it is they want, right? If I'm over there just trying to, it's kind of like when you have a little kid and they're trying to stick like a square in one of those inside of those circle things, it's not going to go in there, right? You got to put the square inside the square, the circle inside the circle. So it's literally a matter of finding out what it is that they want. Find out what it is that they want. What does somebody want to do with the Remon opportunity? Why would somebody want to get involved in Remon? Okay. Now they're going to justify it with the logic of, yes, this company is going to become a legacy company. They're going to justify it with 13 patents. They're going to justify it with the giant junk pool leaf that nobody else on the planet has. They're going to justify it with the water lava. They're going to justify it with the results they're getting from the products. They're going to justify it with the logic, but they're going to get involved with the emotion. So if I was approaching you as a customer, as I was trying to recruit you as a customer, And I'm like, man, you're not going to believe this giant Byungpul plant. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this, in Korea they have this thing called Monocasol. Monocasol is basically is like the Neosporin in the U.S., but instead it's made from Byungpul. We have the same plant, but it's 10 times bigger. Instead of the size of a quarter, the size of the hand. People are like, what? What is this dude talking about? That doesn't make any sense to somebody, right? But if I say, man, you put this product on your face, you're going to look in the mirror and be like, my skin's never looked so good. And then throughout the day, you're going to get all these compliments. Now, if you're one of the type of people that you're really not into getting compliments, I wouldn't try out the products, because some people aren't comfortable with compliments. But if you're one of those people that are like, man, you know what? I could use some more compliments. You're going to get compliments all day long, right? All day long, okay? Literally, your husband's not going to be able to keep his hands off you. I mean, he's going to be like, damn, you look good, baby. Like, you understand? That's what's going to happen. So if I'm talking to people about the results they're going to be interested. It's the same thing with the opportunity. If I ask people, what would you do with an extra $5,000 a month part-time? What would you do with an extra $4,000 or $5,000 a month part-time? What would you do with an extra, $500 a month that just came in residually? What would you do with that income? If you had another $500 a month coming in every single month, month after month after month, whether you worked or didn't, what would you do with that income? You're trying to find out why they would want to be involved in this business. And if it's like, man, you know what, I want to be able to pay off extra bills, right? I want to be able to travel more, right? I want to be able to pay for some of my mortgages or pay off my debts or whatever. That might be something that's going to motivate people. So you're looking for the destination. I'm sharing concepts. So if I'm like, look, man, if I say, hey, look, if I'm talking to you and I'm like, look, man, where are you working at now? You still working over da-da-da-da-da? Last time I talked to you, that's where you're working at. Yeah, I'm still working over there. Well, what do you like best about it? Well, I mean, I like my paycheck. Yeah, you like paychecks. You're the kind of guy that likes to make money. What is one thing about it like that you could change? If you wanted to change one thing, like what's the least favorite thing about it? Oh, man, I just don't like my boss. So you're the type of person who wants to make a lot of money and have freedom. Am I right? Yeah, you're right, Tim. Let me ask you this question, if you don't mind. If I could show you a way for you to be able to make more money than what you're making now and have the freedom and flexibility to work where you want and with who you want, would you be open-minded to taking a look at that and see if it's something that might make sense to you? Heck yeah, Tim. Well, let me ask you a question. When's a good time that we could jump on a Zoom real quick? And I'll just walk you through it real fast. Is afternoons or evenings better? And they say afternoons, let's go, right? And I'm just going to jump on a Zoom. Or when can you come over to my house? I'm going to be getting together a couple people. Is weekends or weekdays better for you? So all I'm doing is just talking to people. Realize this business is a contact sport, okay? And you're going to get good. So realize this. Skills makes labor more valuable, okay? Skills makes labor more valuable. Think about what I'm saying. If you are going to go out there and talk to 10 people and you don't have the skills developed, you're going to get a certain result. But if you have the skills developed, you're going to get a better result, okay? So the skills are what's going to make the labor that you do more valuable, okay? Now here's another thing. You're not going to develop the skills without the what? Labor. So you can't develop the skills without doing the work. So you want to learn how to do this business. And how do you learn? How do you do it? Super simple, right? Talk to more people. If I'm talking to 10 people a day and I'm brand new and I'm not that good, but you're real good and you only talk to one person a day, but I'm talking to 10, and I'm gonna have more results, because maybe if I talk to 10 and only get one, right? When you talk to 10, let's say you get all 10, I'm still going to beat you because I'm going to talk to 10 people a day. You're going to talk to 10 people in 10 days. I'm going to get better results than you. Why? Because I'm going to develop my skills better than you are. And I'm talking to people. I'm getting people started fast, and the people that I bring in, they're going to be doing the same thing. So it's super simple, guys. It's all about short-term, speedy, all-out, massive action. Right now is the best time ever to recruit. I mean, let's face it, right? We got makeup dropping in about an hour and a half. This thing's about to get out of control wild, right? If you're not excited about the makeup, I don't know what, I mean, that's the most exciting thing in the world, right? So we've got the makeup about to drop. People are going to want to get involved in Remon now more than ever before. We've got some of the most exciting promotions that have ever happened in the history of Remon. If you get 3 people started this month and help them generate 1,000 in personal SP, you're going to make a $500 bonus. You can do that unlimited times. So there's never been a better time to start sharing the business with people. Okay, open up your heart, care about people, and introduce them to the Remon opportunity. Because this moment right now that we're experiencing, it'll never be recreated again. We're going to be opening up 50 countries in the next 5 years. Somebody goes, well, Tim, I don't know anybody that speaks any other languages. Well, you start building your team and you take over your backyard. Once you take over your backyard, your business is going to naturally grow across the street. So all you got to do is focus on building your distribution now. Focus on just sponsoring a couple of people. I would focus on this month just sponsoring 3 people, helping them get that $1,000 bonus. Right? If you can sponsor 3 people, help them get that $1,000 bonus, and you get that $1,000 bonus, you're going to be like, okay, good, I'm starting to get the hang of it. right? Or help them, get 3 people sponsored right away and help them earn that $1,000 bonus. Your organization is going to grow even faster. But just realize, you guys, it's the most important thing that you're doing. It's not the results that you get. It's the skills that you're developing. That's what the most valuable thing is. Sure, I've made a lot of money in this industry, but really the value is that I've developed the skills and I've reduced the fear. How do you get rid of the fear? You do it, right? Have you guys ever, you ever done something that you were scared to do, right? I remember one time we were at some lake and there was a rock and everybody was all afraid to climb off of it. I'm like, jump off of it, right? I remember we did it in Hawaii. We were there in Maui with I remember Zimmer was there and Jade was there, a couple of my buddies. We were all there on an incentive trip in my previous business. And they're like, hey, Tim, we're going to go jump off this rock. I'm like, we'll jump off a rock? Why would we do that? They're like, oh, it's going to be into the ocean. I said, well, that makes sense. All right, I'll go. And I just did it. I didn't even think about it. I just did it. Because fear to me is false evidence appearing real. Now, I'm not just saying if you see a rock, go jump off of it. But what I'm saying is don't be jumping off rocks. There's a big rock, let's go jump off of it. You got to have an ocean to jump into, right? But what I'm telling you is that whatever it is, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Fear is false evidence appearing real, right? Don't be afraid to take action. Be afraid not to take action. Because if you don't take action, somebody else is going to get your buddy started in the business, right? You're going to learn and learn and learn and learn. It's all about playing tag. The way I look at this business, everything that you need to know to be able to become successful in this business is on a playground. If you go to a playground, right, and you see like little 6-year-old kids, playing tag, best example of how to be successful in this industry. Everything that you're going to need to be successful, you already learned in kindergarten as a business. That's it. Like literally, you go see these kids 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here I come. Tag you're it. I don't want to play. Dude, whatever. All right, let's go tag somebody else. Right? I quit. All right, tag somebody else. It's like super simple. Just have fun with it. If you're having fun and you're excited and you're just sharing and sharing and sharing and sharing and sharing, you're going to have so much fun. It's all about having fun. Have fun. And how do you have fun? Action, 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 action. My mentor told me short-term, speedy, all-out, massive action. Talking to people. When you get done talking to people, talking to more people. Right? Some will, some won't, some wait. So what? Who's next? Best example I ever heard was a deck of 52 cards. If you have a deck of 52 cards, think about this. How many aces are in that deck? 4, right? How many directors do you need to become a national director? 4. So if an ace was a director and you were flipping through a deck and you're looking for an ace, how fast would you flip? How fast would you flip? Think about it. Would you flip it over a jack and you're like, oh, it's a jack, man. And then you're like, man, pull it together, buddy. You can be an ace. Just believe in yourself. This guy's going to be an ace. I'm telling you, this jack's going to be an ace. It's not going to be an ace. Just flip through the cards and find the aces. You're looking for the people that are looking for you. You're looking for lookers, right? I'm looking for people that are looking for an opportunity. So when you make a list of 100 people, it doesn't mean that you call the first person and just keep on calling them until they look at it. You're going to call all the people on your list. And a lot of times nowadays, calling is kind of weird. So I'll send a text message to create urgency. I'll say something on my text like this. Hey, look, I don't have any time to talk right now. I'm real busy, but I got some really good news. What time are you free after 2 o'clock? And then they're like, well, what is it? What is it? Well, that's why we need to talk. That's why we need to talk. Okay. So all you want to do is what? Right? I can use a text to tee up the call. So I use text to tee up. Right? I'll hit somebody up on Messenger and I'll say the same thing. I got really lucky. Right? I got really lucky. I don't have time to talk right now, but I got some really good news. When do you have time that we can get together after 2 o'clock? You guys see that? Super simple. Why do I do that? Why don't I just say, hey, we need to get on the phone right now? Because I'm creating exclusivity, right? And I'm also planting a seed and getting them to think about it. Curiosity, what do they say about curiosity and kitty cats? You guys get what I'm saying? Right? So I'm not fire hosing people. I'm not like sending out a message to my friends going, oh my God, you're blah, 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 and blah, 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 this, oh my God, this giant blah, plant, blah, 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 there's tigers in the grass and there's waters and there's lava water. And I'm being like all like just hitting them with a fire hose. All I'm doing is creating excitement, creating urgency, and getting them on the phone to take a look at what's going on, right? So the key is have fun. Don't be afraid to take action. Go all out, massive action. Believe in yourself. make a decision in your mind. More importantly, make a decision in your heart that says, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to be a success. I'm going to make my dreams, I'm going to make my goals become a reality. This moment in time, it'll never be recreated again. Understand, hey, look, you know what? I know right now this moment in time will never be duplicated again. And I'm going to make a decision in my heart. I'm going to make a declaration in my heart. I'm going to make a declaration in my mind right now that I'm going all out, that I'm going to give it everything that I got, that I know the only way that I'm going to win in anything is to be able to take massive action. And nobody on the planet is going to outwork me. I'm going for it, man. I'm playing tag all day long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right here I come. Tag you right, tag you right, tag you right, tag you right. Let's just play tag. Let's have fun. Let's drop the fear. Let's just have fun. Okay? And whatever rank you are right now, let's go to the next rank. If you're a planner right now, let's go to manager. Let's get it done. If you're a manager, guess what we need to do? Let's go to senior manager. If you're a senior manager, what do we need to do? Let's get you to team leader. If you're a team leader, what do you got to do? Let's get you a director. If you're a director, go senior director. All the way to the top. Let's go all the way to the top. If you're a senior director, let's go national. Right? If you go national, let's have them make another position. This is our time to do something special. This is our time to do something great. And I'm going to tell you right now, you've got everything that it's going to take for you to become a success. You've got everything that it's going to take. But now it's going to take all that you got. So believe in yourself. Know that you've got a mouth. All you got to do is flap your lips. Flap your lips, flap your lips, flap your lips. Tim, I don't know, man. I'm not tall enough. I'm not short enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not ugly enough. I'm not a girl. I'm not a guy. I'm not a this. I'm not a that. We can make excuses all day long. Or we can just go out there and start playing tag. For me, it's like, look, I'm not going to say, hey, I'm an ugly guy. I can't make it in the beauty industry. I'm not going to say that. Right? I'm not going to say that. That'd be silly. Why? Because I've got a mouth. And I can flap my lips. And if you've got lips and you can flap them, start flapping your lips. Right? I'm scared to talk to people, Tim. Well, guess what? Stop being afraid to talk to people. How do you overcome fear? Just jump. Just do it. Let's give it everything that we got. This is our time. This is our chance. Let's make sure that right now we make that decision, make that commitment in our mind, make that decision in our heart to go all out massive action. Make a commitment, make a decision, lock arms with us. Okay. I'm doing a mindset training on Friday. Don't forget about that. That thing's going to be great because it's going to get you dialed in mentally. Okay. Let's give it everything that we got. This moment in time will never be recreated again. You've got what it takes. It's going to take what you got. Let's lock arms. Let's make it happen. And let's not let anybody get left behind. God bless you guys. Thanks for jumping on this live. Hopefully this information made sense. And let's go promote some makeup, baby. Let's go, everybody.